Okay, my friends, let's go part two. I hope you're enjoying this so far. I did tone down the background just slightly with a little bit of burnt umber and black, okay? It was a little bit rich, a little bit in reddy brown. So I toned it down with just a little bit of black, burnt umber and a little touch of white, okay? Just here and there, just to soften the background just slightly. But yeah, it's coming on well. Let's start with these vases as they're called. Is it vase or vase? I can't tell. I suppose it depends on where you come from. Let's start with a nice bright white on these. I'm going to just take some white and I'm going to take a hint of Naples yellow and I'm going to start just putting in the outline of these. Okay, now the background is still a little wet, but it should be fine. If you want, actually, what we could do is take a little bit of tissue and just dampen it slightly with some turpentine and just rub off some of that brown. I think it will just help cover the vase much easier, don't you think? Just take off some of that there, just a little bit. Okay, that'll do fine. Okay, nice bright colour, Naples yellow with some white, okay? And let's just fill this in. Now it's naturally picking up some of the brown from the background, so that's fine. I like that. It'll give us our little bit of tone just in the middle. Okay, up here, let's go like that. Just keep cleaning your brush. I'm using just paint on its own, okay? There's no thinners in this at all. That'll give you a nice thick colour. And what we'll do then, you see, is we'll put some nice palette knife work on this to catch those highlights. Won't that look lovely? Okay, coming down here, just down to the bottom. So now you see, because it's picked up some of the brown, we already have our medium shade already there. So I think that kind of helped us now just a little bit. So let's fill this in. There we go. Our first one is in. Let's move on to the second one over here. Nice bright white on this one. This cuts across, doesn't it? Ever so slightly. Now I did sketch out, you can see, I did a quick sketch with a fine pointy brush just to get my lines back again. It was just a very quick sketch. For me, the nicest part of this photograph is those splash of red flowers. I don't even know what kind of flowers they are. You can't really tell what kind of flowers they are. It's just little dabs of red. And I think that's really going to really catch your eye, I think. Now you see this shadow. So we want to create a curve, okay? So I'm just going to follow where the white, the bright shade is. Comes across like that, look, and then it sort of comes over a bit like that, doesn't it? So I'm just going to put that in like this for now, then turn slightly. Okay, I'm going to do the same with this one over here. There's a big red flower in the middle of this, so this one doesn't really matter too much. But I'm just going to keep going over the bright side of this with some thick white paint, okay? Just to brighten it up as I go. So you want it much brighter. I might try a touch of cadmium yellow. I think with the white might really brighten this up. So let me just get a touch of cadmium yellow, pale, just there. I take a touch of that and then lots of white. Now that will give us a very rich, bright white. Let's just go along the outside edge of this. And you may find it difficult to, if your background is still wet underneath, you see the way it's just kind of softening through. You can, if you like, just let that dry for a couple of hours if you prefer to work on a dry canvas like this, like, you know, without having to worry about colors mixing. You can just let your paint dry if you like. Okay, absolutely. I'll kind of leave it like that for now. I'm just going to start focusing on the shadowed colors. So the shadow, we'll start with this one over here. It's a lovely browny color, isn't it? We'll start with some burnt umber. I'm going to take a little burnt sienna and a little cadmium yellow. As in the previous painting, there's light kind of catching it from the backside as well. I'm not sure where it's coming from or what it is, but you can see there's almost like a reflection in the shadow side of this. I'm taking a touch of black, just a small hint of black. I'll start with this dark color. We can lighten it if we need to, okay? Don't worry. Go right down there, like so. Bring that back. Now you see the way I'm softening this into that white. And that's the lovely thing about the oils. You can kind of soften colors together gently if you need to. And very gently softening that color in. So working from the back and softening it across. And you see the way I'm just kind of flicking my brush up and down. That sometimes is the nicest way to soften colors together, especially on a jar or a cup or something like that. Up and down and just soften it across. So you're kind of lightening the color as it goes across your painting. Now I'll dry my brush very quickly and just soften it right over into the yellow, then soften it upwards. You can of course use your soft blending brush for this as well if you like. Okay, by all means. Now I am going to just soften across here, soften those two together and up here. And you notice that you have all these little brush strokes and brush marks on the canvas. I'll just take a very soft brush and just soften it all together. Okay? So now you can begin to see the shadow turning around on that vase. I'm going to start going a little darker, and I might use a smaller brush. I go for my small stubby. I'm going to go very dark. I'm going to go black and a little cadmium red. That might even be okay for now. Maybe a hint of burnt sienna. Because you have to remember, okay, so it's a bright cream vase, right? So that means the darker sides will be a very dark browny color and the brights will be very white. So you have to remember the color of the object that you're painting. So if it was, for instance, let's say a red vase, the light side would be a very bright red whitey pink and the dark side would be a very dark browny red. So you have to go by the colors of the objects that you're painting. So because these are cream vases, the dark sides will be a very kind of a warm, rich brown. Okay, does that make sense? Go like that, up the side of it here. Now, I will soften this across, like that, okay? Just like that. I'll take a touch more cadmium red in this mix, so kind of a very warm, dark, browny red, okay? Go right down the back, make it nice and dark down here. Then I'm going to come across again like this, look, softening it out, and then bring it right down, and again soften it across ever so slightly, look. Now I do want to soften this section here, so I'm very lightly just rubbing it with my brush. And that's why these brushes then are ideal, these kind of soft brushes. Soft synthetic brushes are ideal for this kind of work. If you were using very hard bristles for this, you would see all your brush strokes and it would probably annoy you quite a bit. I just love these soft brushes. They're just wonderful. Now a little touch of dark just at the back there again, because it's quite dark up there, isn't it? Just like that. And then soften it across again, nice and soft. I'll bring this one over just a little bit more, like that. Cut across the ends. Okay. So we're beginning to see it, beginning to take shape. I'll leave that for now and move on to the next one over. And actually, if you look at this on the reference photo, you can see a hint of a yellowy colour, can't you? There's a hint of a yellowy colour in there. I'm not sure what it is. I'm just going to take a little cadmium yellow and a little burnt sienna. It's a very rich colour, maybe a hint of red. And I'm going to just pop a slight hint of that just with the tip of my brush, look. So it's almost like it's reflecting from something outside of the photograph onto the side of the vase. So just a slight hint of a yellowy shade just there. Now you may not be able to see that very well on camera. I'm just going to try that again. There, that'll do fine. Let's move on to the next one. And it's the same job really again. The thing with this one is we have hints of red kind of reflecting off of the vase. So I need to go for a very warm colour first. Cadmium red and burnt sienna, and then a hint of burnt umber. And maybe even a hint of this black here, okay? So we have a very ready, dark, ready brown again, okay? And I'm going to start up here. Go around the vase, around the dark side of the vase. So it's all about the direction of light playing on the painting, okay? It's all about light. And if you look closely at the photograph again, now you can download the photograph. If you look closely, what you'll see is the light side of this vase is reflecting onto this. So you can see a hint of a light colour there as well. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot to think about. Just take your time, okay? That's all you have to do. Take your time. Little hint of a warm colour just here. I'm going to soften that down slightly. Now I'm going to take some cadmium yellow with a hint of cadmium red, okay? And I'm going to go up here and put that lovely colour just around the vase here. And again, there's almost a hint of a yellowy colour reflecting from the fabric. So it's like it's almost like a little orangey hue. So cadmium yellow and a little burnt sienna. That's kind of a mustardy colour. I'm going to put some of that here. Again, that's reflecting from those curtains. I might even put a hint of it just here as well. And look, it's just simply small brush strokes. A few small brush strokes. I'm going to take some of this kind of grey hue, a bit of white. So I just picked up some browny black there with a bit of white, and I'm going to soften a little touch of this through here, okay? I can see just a slight shade of a kind of a grey colour around here and there. And then I'm going to take, I'm going to go for a warm mauve, take some phaylo blue and some crimson. I'm going to put a warm mauve kind of in around the back, just by the shadow. So in other words, I have a shadow, but it's not a very, very strong shadow. Does that make sense? I'm going to turn like this and go up. Don't worry about any little mistakes that you'll make. We can fix all of those. Now I'll take a little black and a little cadmium red. I just want to put a real dark, even though it's not on the photograph, I just want to kind of accentuate the dark on the side of this vase here, as if it's really catching some light and shade, okay? Just to add a little bit more life into the shape of the vase, okay? That's all, just a little more life, just a tiny, tiny bit. Soften them around. And it's all just about, look, just taking your time. That's all you have to do. Take your time. There's no rush with this. Don't try and rush to get this finished quickly. Just relax. Take it nice and easy. We have a nice bit of a dark in here. I'm going to go for a smaller brush. Small, round, pointy brush. And we have a lovely dark in here. I'm going to get some black and cadmium red. Plenty of turpentine. And I'm going to put that in here. And then it's going to soften across the side of the vase here, okay? So going into the white then, you see, it's going to soften outwards. So it's mixing with the white in the vase and it's making this beautiful grey. And that's what I love about oils, is because you could kind of just put one colour on and soften it through and make a different colour. Just follow that curve right around, like so. Now we need to go a bit darker, don't we? Let's go a little bit darker. Bit more paint and soften it out. See? It's not bad now, is it? We have another dark. It's actually a dark browny colour I have. Another little bit in here. Just pop that in. Let's take a little more black. Get a bit more black in this one. And I'll go up the side of this. I literally have just the tiniest amount of colour on the tip of my brush, okay? The tiniest little amount. Soften it up. And you can see that the background is actually much darker on the photograph than what I have, but it's okay, it's fine. It doesn't matter. Go around the front of this with a little dark colour as well. Okay, like so. I'm then going to take some pure black and just really go nice and black in here. Like that, okay? And I'll do the same on the other side here. I just really want to show the darks, because the darks in a painting will show off the lights. So it's very important that you have very strong darks wherever you're putting them. That will really show off the lighter colours in your painting. So don't be shy with your darks, okay? Now a bit like that. I'm going to now put in the shadow for this small vase here. And let's just take a little brown. I'm going to start with a little brown, little black. And I'm going to just pull that out. It comes with a little bit of a curve in it, isn't there? Like that. And come up here. And just pop this in. I might try a little bit of the warmer colour. And you can see this lovely haze we have around the shadow. So you don't want a kind of a sharp line like this. What I want to do is soften all of this together nicely. So I'm just going to, with my dry brush, I'm going to kind of rub along the edges like this, you see? Just soften it all away so it's nice and hazy. It's not a sharp line. We don't have any sharp lines then. Doesn't that look, it just looks much more pleasing on the eye, doesn't it? I'm going to soften it away. Then I'm going to add a really nice rich colour just on the inside in here. Kind of a browny red just in there. Soften that out again. So that's coming on. Not bad at all. It's not bad. The next thing I want to do is just really start brightening the vases. Actually, what I will do first is let's just finish off the tops of these vases, okay? Let's get a little hint of burnt umber and black. I'm just first going to go around the edge like that. I just want to finish off, just to give it a little bit of purpose, okay? Just like that, just a little bit. Then clean your brush and go into some white. Let's just take some white. And we have a little bit of light catching on the back of this one over here. Now this may be difficult to do with a very small brush even, so, you know, just take your time. Little touch of light here and there, you see? And that really just brings it to life, doesn't it? You see how that just really jumped off of the canvas? That little bit of light. Put a bit there. And I'm going to really brighten up the edges of these around here, okay? I just really want to show off the edges. Now I'll soften this one back in just where it meets the dark, you see? Just with the brush, just soften it away. And that just keeps everything nice and soft. Okay, let's get some more white and let's really brighten up the edges of these. Thick white paint. I'm going to go slightly wider with this one just to make it even on both sides. Now, what we could do next is, should we try some palette knife work? I think we should. I think it might be a little bit of fun. So let me just grab a palette knife. And I think this is when it all just kind of comes to life, doesn't it? I'll try this palette knife here. Get some white and a hint of Naples yellow. That little bit of Naples yellow will really just brighten it up a bit. I can see a little hint of light kind of coming around here. So you could just grab it like that and give it a scrape down. And see the way I'm turning my knife. So I'm following the contour of the vase, you see? Now you see that lovely rough way? I'm going to soften it through just here and there. And that does give a lovely texture, doesn't it? Let's try it on this one here. We have a nice thick light on this. Like so. Then I clean the knife again, pick up more paint. Nice and gently down the edge. Isn't that nice? And I can just soften it away then just a little bit here. Look, just soften it away. The same here. So now, didn't that bring everything to life? Let me just fix exposure on this. It's a little bit on the bright side. There we go. It's a little better now, isn't it? So now we have two lovely vases. Let's do the little flowers. And firstly, I'll do the stems. I'm going to put a lovely rich colour on the stems. Let's take burnt sienna and a little cadmium red. I'm going to start with that colour first, okay? A nice rich brown, already brown. And let's just go like that. And let's go another one out further here. And we have a couple of nice ones coming out like that. Then I go to a darker colour. Let's just get some burnt umber and a bit of black. We have a couple of ones in the background over there. Now I'll take some burnt umber with black and I'm going to just thin this slightly and just put in some darks. See, just some dark on the back of those. We have another couple kind of coming down in front of the vase, just there, and one or two coming over the sides. And you won't really see these by the time the flowers are done, okay? So, like, don't be too particular with all of this. Okay? Try not to be too particular. Remember, we'll have little flowers going over all of this. Okay, that's that one done. And then, simply, some lights. Let's get some pointy brush, nice, very small, fine pointy brush. And I'm going to take some Naples yellow with a little hint of cadmium red. A very light pink. And let's just put some lights. Now I'm going to get my stick for this. I think this should help. And simply put a nice little light. There. And another one here. And you can see I'm just being very, very quick and very loose with this. You don't have to spend too much time trying to get these absolutely perfect, all right? It's just impression, that's all. Don't have to be absolutely perfect with everything. Okay, I'll take some cadmium red and I pop some cadmium red with some burnt sienna and just warm here and there. Just lightly, and maybe get some black and just put some black in to some of the darker ones. Now, I'll just fix the edge of my vase up here, just to cut across those. Okay, like that. Next we have our red flowers, the most important piece of the entire painting for me. These lovely red flowers. Now I'm going to get a different palette knife. I had one here earlier, but I don't know where it's gone. This palette knife here, let's try this. Let's simply get some nice riches of cadmium red, nice blobs of cadmium red and little burnt sienna. Now, lovely rich reddy colour. It's quite dark, but I can lighten it then, you see, and add some nice bright highlights. So we go with this first. I'm simply going to just dab, 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 like that, okay? You see, nice and easy. Because you can't really tell what kind of flowers these actually are, can you? Not by looking at the photograph. It's just very kind of fuzzy. A bit more cadmium red now. Let's go right into the cadmium red. Some of this burnt sienna colour. And nice thick little blobs of paint. And just have a bit of fun. Really just enjoy it and have a bit of fun. Now, you probably can't see that properly with the light reflecting on top. Let's go back into some cadmium red and let's put some nice rich cadmium red around here and there. I'm just going around in little arches, just kind of bringing it out. You see what I mean? Now, we have another one over here. And it's just a case of doing this for each flower. And the other thing is, do add a little bit of shading to some of these as well, okay? That's very important. But first, I'm just going to go around down to all of these with rich, bright red first, and then I'll add some shading at the end. And make them slightly different. You see the way I'm just kind of flicking this out, just to make it a very random kind of a flower. A little bit at the back over here, like that. Nice bright one over here. Just flick it around, just have a bit of fun with your knife, okay? See? Don't be shy with your paint, there's plenty of paint. Now, the ones in the back, I'm going to darken slightly. I'm going to use burnt sienna with cadmium red, okay? And even a hint of crimson. Let's try a hint of crimson as well. That'll give us a nice rich dark colour, won't it? Let's put a little bit of dark on some of these. Especially the back ones, look, because they'll be kind of slightly in shade, won't they? A little bit on this one here. And a little bit at the back of this. A bit of dark back here. Just have a bit of fun. That's all. Just have plenty of fun with this. Don't be shy. Grab your knife and just go and have a bit of fun. Just grab a few dark colours, bit of crimson, bit of burnt umber. You can even take a little bit of black if you want. You pop a little bit of black in there, look. So why not? It's our painting, we can do what we like, isn't that right, my friends? Pop a little black in over here. And for me, the final piece I would like to do is to add some very bright orange into this. So I really want to just brighten this up now, give this a real splash of colour. So I'm going to take cadmium red with cadmium yellow. Okay, that should give us a nice bright colour. And I'm going to pop little touches to that. Now I need fresh yellow because my yellow has gone, it's run out. A little bit of cadmium yellow there. And let's get our knife and just mix a little bit of that with the red. And you see that little bright now? See, just catches the light. Just brightens the whole thing up a little bit, doesn't it? So you can see now we have some lovely flowers. We don't really know what kind of flowers they are, but it's just a splash of colour on a painting, isn't it? I'm then going to add just a little bit of a warm green. Just in around some of these. Blue, yellow and a little sienna. I just want to show the hint of a green, just for a little bits of leaves, that kind of thing. Okay? I think it would be nice just to show a hint of it, just there and there. It could be just kind of sticking out here and there on the stems. Okay, just a touch. It doesn't have to be too much. Just a little flick here and there. You see, it's just a touch. It's just to kind of bring the eye around slightly. So my friends, I think we're pretty much done. I'm going to just do another tiny bit of work on the fabric down here, just to maybe just brighten it up here and there a little bit. Take a bit of white, and I'm going to go around, cut up into the vase up here, and that will push the vase back then. Okay, and I'm just going to look around then and see what's what. Just have a look. See what you think you need to brighten slightly. I'm going to lighten all of this up down here. And you can see I'm still kind of keeping some of the brush strokes, the direction of the brush strokes. I'm just keeping some of them. It's really just to add a bit of interest more than anything else, isn't it? That's all you want to do. And I'll soften, maybe with a hint of browny colour. I'm going to just soften the shadow on this one here, just slightly. Just soften it out very slightly. Now the colours I know aren't exactly the same, and it's not absolutely perfect either. I can see that, but I'm happy with the outcome. I just wanted to create a nice impression of two little vases. I just wanted to get that impression, that's all. And I think I've achieved it. Put a little bit of dark colour in here. Like so. And then I might just take a little bit of white and put a nice bit of white across the top of that. So you can do all of this just with a pointy brush, catching some highlights. That's what we're trying to do. Catch some highlights. And my friends, I'm done. The thing with something like this is you can fiddle and you can kind of go over the top with it. That's what you need to be careful with. Try not to fiddle too much. Let's just put a little bit of a dark in under here again, just to darken it slightly. And even a hint of that browny red. I want to kind of soften the shadow into the vase as it goes around, okay? So I'm softening the shadow up into the vase slightly. And then softening it out into the shadow on the cloth slightly as well. So there's no sort of hard edges. You see what I mean? There's no very hard edges. And that's it. We, my friends, are done. I'm very happy with this. I do hope you've enjoyed it. I just need to sign down here because the painting is not finished until it's signed, isn't it? And there we are, my friends. I'll see, can I zoom in for you just slightly? Okay. Lots of dabs of red with the palette knife. Just go crazy with the palette knife, adding lots of little dabs of colour. And you see the way it kind of raises off of the canvas, isn't that lovely? I do love that. It just gives a more three-dimensional kind of shape, doesn't it? So I am done. My friends, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate that. If you have any questions whatsoever, please do just ask. You can send me an email. Thank you once again to my patrons for suggesting this. I'm very happy and thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed it. I will see you very soon for another tutorial, a waterfall. Coming up next, a waterfall on YouTube. Thank you so much. Enjoy, happy painting, and God bless you all, my friends. Take care.